listening to The Burn. Gaming stuff, blazing fast.
Welcome, listeners, to a new episode of The Burn, a podcast about gaming done blazing fast. I'm Aviv Manoach.
And I'm Yehuda Halfon.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hello. Fine.
The last
It's quasi spring here. in the
quasi?
UK, so it's fun.
What is quasi spring?
It's 15 degrees in the day and 5 degrees at night, but flowers are blooming, so it's quasi spring.
I was just added by our friend Maya to a group on Facebook called Colored Hair Enthusiasts.
Yeah, legit.
I think it's because of Twitter. I saw the invite on Facebook before I saw Twitter, so I posted a picture that I showed you before of Talis and Jaffe. He has a haircut which is he has how do you call it, a fade on both sides, and then his top is colored. In this picture, cobalt blue, which is my favorite hair color. But it changes from blue to purple to pink to, I don't think he ever did green. But yeah. So I posted it on Twitter and Maya replied that she's going to add me to the group to help me with it.
Yeah.
What I was saying before that. Oh, yes, you were talking about the quasi spring. So let me tell you about the week we had. Or like 10 last days. It went from like Israeli spring, which is like 25 Celsius, something like that. Nice. The nights are still cool, not hot and not warm enough to put the heavy blankets away. Weather, it's fine. It's not my favorite weather, but it's not the worst weather. At least you're not sweaty. And then it jumped up to, first of all, clouds of dust. And then temperatures of like 35, around that. Not summer hot, if you put everything together, but the rapid increase of temperature, I was dead for like 2 days. Add to that, it's the dust, and then it's the poles in the air. My whole body was fighting the world. And then yesterday it dropped back, and we got like a rainstorm. So yeah, that was our week.
Fun.
Yeah, so now like up to this morning, I walked around with shorts and t-shirts and stuff, and then this morning I woke up, I put in my regular short clothes, I walked the dog, and then I realized it's cold, so I got back home, put in sweatpants and some socks and slippers, and it's nice again, but this nice weather is only going to be like this for the next 2 days or so, and then we are getting back to spring/summer.
Yay.
No, I hate it. I only started getting allergic reaction to spring the last like couple of years, and I never did. And it's not fun. I don't like it. Give me back my non-allergenic body. Allergic, not allergenic. That's the other way around.
Yep.
Anyway. We are The Burn, a podcast about gaming done blazing fast. In each episode, we discuss a game that we played and liked, or disliked, but usually liked. And then some gaming news, and maybe some other nerdy topics related to that. You can subscribe to the podcast and see all the episodes at the feed at theburn.live. That's the website. Support our show by visiting support.theburn.live. You can find all our affiliate links there, as well as some sponsored activities you can do to support us. And you can also join our Discord community at discord.theburn.live. We are going to talk today about God of War Ragnarök, which is like new-ish game, but not like new game. But it was a big game. We sort of dip between new big games and small games, and we both played it, and we covered pretty much everything in the other podcast. But this is the first time we'll talk about God of War in this show. So, Yehuda, take it on.
Yeah, so we will talk about God of War Ragnarok. I think it still counts as new. It's 6 months old or something.
It's
now.
newish, yeah. It's still newish.
Yeah.
Especially where the game came out without photo mode and without New Game Plus, and they added that post-release. And I think it's the only time in the history of gaming where a company did something like that and no one cared. Like, think about any other game that will release without New Game Plus. People will be like, oh, what are you doing? You're corrupted game developers. Crunch a bit and add it or something. And no one cared for Ragnarok that they didn't have New Game Plus.
Because it was such a good game. So in 2018, God of War franchise got kinda relaunched. I mean, it's not a reboot because everything happened in the old 3 games happened. So now it just relaunched itself in the Norse mythology. We killed in the original 3 games. We killed all or most of the Greek god pantheon, and the game ended by basically there is no more world. Everything's dead. Everything's destructed. So we thought, okay, this is how it happened. And then we realized, no. We only fucked up Greece. Now we can go fuck up other places.
Yeah.
Go to the north.
Although
While the first game,
what I liked about the God of War game, like the 2018 one, I can say the first or whatever. The first Norse one was, and that's a bit contrasting with Ragnarok, was that the game was fairly empty. I like open world game where the world feel somewhat alien, and that's exactly what God of War did, a bit because we were basically playing through the eyes of damn it, how the name of the son, what's the Atreus, thank you.
yes.
Yeah,
Boy!
I forgot the pronunciation for a bit. So while we were playing as Kratos, which has lived there for, I don't know, a decade or two, we technically see everything through the perspective of Atreus. And so Kratos has to explain things about wildlife and animals and stuff. And later when you get Mimir, you get all the stories, and like Kratos doesn't really talk about it. So it's Atreus that does most of the talking and learns new things. So we as the player get to experience the world as like a fresh child, basically, that hasn't gone beyond the confines of their home. And what you find in God of War is that while it's true that Kratos fucked up Greece, there are some residual effects in other places of the world, because the place we are playing in, Midgard, is abandoned. There are no people. There are only roving bands of bandits and like marauders. What's the name they have? I don't remember. There is a name for them. The killing people. But basically the world is overrun with monsters and stuff, and something bad happened. And it's hinted, but never explicitly said, that there was some disaster that drove people away. So while the games are, let's say, are softly connected, it's not a direct relations, and I like it. I like the hints. And there are a lot more of them in Ragnarok, because Ragnarok delves a lot deeper into Kratos' background from the perspective of people that know him in the Norse. So, for example, one time Mimir asked him about the magic that he had as a Norse god, and Kratos said, "Oh, I lost everything." And they explained that the magic of the gods is very tightly connected to the land. So basically, it retroactively explains how Kratos lost all of the cool powers he had, because when he destroyed Greece, he also destroys all of his power.
Yep.
So yeah,
And I like it. And also in the old games, every game you finish it in a very high level with all the things, and then
Yeah.
they had to make you weak again. So every time they throw you into hell and things break up all your shit, and then you're weak and things. Now, in the previous game, in God of War 2018, you get very strong, and then in the end of the beginning of God of War 2, Ragnarok, the dwarf asks you, "What happened to all your equipment we made for you a few years ago?" I used it, broke. That's it. That's the whole. Now this is why I'm weak again.
Yeah, and they did it a bit better because he keeps the Blades of Chaos, so you get them from the beginning, so it's not a massive departure. B, they actually say that he and Atreus basically trained the entire time from the end of God of War into the beginning of Ragnarok. And Kratos, because the skill trees are somewhat different, like there are still some overlap from the first game, but there are big departures. It feels more like Kratos is training in a parallel path now. It's not like he became weak. It's that he trained in a certain set of skills from the previous game, where he mostly fought monsters and stuff. There were some god fights, but not the majority of them. And then now for Ragnarok, they trained for that, and you get like a different set of skills that are important for this adventure. I feel like from many games that make you back to level 1 between sequels, they did it fairly well in this one.
Yeah, and this is something I'm looking forward to in Star Wars Jedi Survival, because you finish.
That's true.
The previous game, which I always forget his name.
Outcast. No, Outcast was the old one. Fallen Order.
Yeah, Fallen Order. So in Fallen Order, you finish the game. Basically, you have all the skills, because we talked about it in the previous episode. You have all the skills in the game, and you're very powerful. And basically, you only lose to Darth Vader. And in the new game, you cannot start again when you're very powerful. But in the trailers, some of them, they're like 5 million. I haven't watched all of them, but I watched like 2. There is a point in the trailer where you start fighting with 2 swords. And in the previous game, you never fought with 2 swords. You had only one special attack that broke your lightsaber, did a two sword attack, build it again, and then you continue with your fighting style. So now it's like when you fight with 2 swords, it's completely different if you start fighting with a double blade or a single blade. So I think this is where the game will take you. I need to learn new fighting skills. So this is new skills that I own.
And also, Kyle Kestis, he was strong if you in the context of the game, but if you put him in relations to other Jedi games, he wasn't a powerful character. He needed to relearn all the basic shit. Like he needed to relearn push and pull. So I assume we will start with the basic things this time, and then we will learn the actual good stuff that because the entire game, even when you got to max level, everything you did was mass pull, mass push, and
mass hold.
Yeah, the mass slow one, and everything else was saber battle. So yeah, he's a good saber fighter, but he's not a very strong force wielder.
And
But-
this is something that they explain it very well in the game because he was early teens, if
Yeah,
at best, when Order 66 happened, and then he
he
hid
was a
for a
very
decade.
yeah, he was a very young Padawan. He didn't get a lot of training, which reminds me one of the best like joke things from the Mandalorian is that Grogu basically has more training than Luke Skywalker,
Yep.
which is so good. Although it's one of the tropes of like the I don't know fighting shonen genre and stuff that even people that have like 50 years of school training are not as powerful from people that got their abilities in battle. So there is something to say for that. But that's not God of War related. We sidetrack.
Yeah, we digress because we always digress. So in the first game, quick recap because we never talked about it. Podcast: Kratos' wife dies off screen at the beginning of the game. Very sad. Her last wish is take my ashes to the highest peak in all of the 9 realms. Throw my ashes there. Awesome. Very vague, very awesome. It's hard to get there, if not impossible. But you know when your ex-husband is a god, so fuck him, let him walk. So she walks with Kratos goes with Atreus and to find the tallest mountain in the world, spread the ashes, and in the meantime, apparently 3 gods, Modi and Mangi, Thor's sons, and Baldur, Freya's son, tries to kill them all because prophecies and such, prophecies are always good excuse to do stuff. In the game, we kill Modi, Mengi, and Baldur. We fight other gods throughout the game, but we kill these 3. I don't remember if we kill other. I think these are the only 3 we actually kill in the game.
Yeah, we don't. There are other gods in the games. I don't think so.
I mean,
Like-
Freya is there.
Well, yeah, but as enemies, no Freya.
No.
There is Freya. There is Mimir, obviously, and that's it. I think.
So we kill the 3 gods, and these are basically things that triggers events in the second game, because either Thor and Freya are very upset for you for killing their kids, which I get it because kill their kids.
Yeah, but
Um,
and in the one of the best foreshadowing that if you know anything about Norse mythology, you will notice is that you get mistletoe arrows, and then you hit Baldur with the mistletoe, which make him mortal. And killing Baldur is what starts Ragnarok. So we have Ragnarok. One of our friends played God of War after Ragnarok came out, which is a bit of a spoiler in and of itself, because if you know there is going to be Ragnarok, it loses some of its I don't know, some of its magic. When you played it originally, I think the twist at the end was done amazingly well.
Yeah, we're not going to the twist to the end. You can experience God of War. It's also on the PlayStations.
I intentionally didn't say who did what.
Yeah. So you can play it on the PC now. And it's a good
Yes, you
port
can.
from what I understand.
Yes, it is.
So in the second God of War, basically we are back in the game. I don't remember if they actually say how long it's been between the two games.
I don't remember either, but it's
definitely years.
No, it's about the same time it took the game to come out. Just because it's like the exact number of years it took for the voice actor to grow up.
Yeah. So basically, it's been 4 to 5 years between the games.
Yeah, and at the end of God of War, it was the beginning of Feeble Winter. It's the long winter. It's what happened where
Yeah, it's been 3 years of people. So.
yeah, it's what happened when Baldur's dies, and it's the first sign of Ragnarok. So everything is frozen over, and then it's all terrible, basically.
So in God of War Ragnarok, we are playing in the same game. And by the way, something I forgot to say: unlike God of War, the original trilogy, you play in Greece and you go to Athens and Crete and Sparta and all that places. This is somewhere.
Yeah.
There isn't like a proper location to anything. It's
Oh,
Midgard.
it's a specific location in game. It's just not tied to
Yeah,
any real world location. It's the
yeah,
Lake of Nine and the surrounding areas.
yeah. So you cannot go and sightsee thing. So, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is
where
not
I want
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah. Which most of it doesn't happen in the Norway anyway. It plays in the UK.
There's a bit of Norway, a bit.
A bit. Yeah, we digress again.
Yeah, you need
so,
to close this up in like 3 minutes. So do it.
Okay, so basically in this game we try to prevent Ragnarok because Ragnarok bad. We are good. And Thor and Freya really hunts you throughout the game, and then at some point they are forced to work with you. So they are very reluctant about it. Like, fuck you, we'll help you until we stop the thing, and then we'll kill you because we are awesome and you killed our kids. So if the first game, this is something I really enjoyed in the plot-wise between the two games. If the first game is that Kratos tries to understand how to be a father, because apparently Faye, his wife, was basically raising Atreus. But now he's like, oh, I'm fucked, I'm alone. So what the fuck do I do? How am I becoming a father? And now he learned how to be a father, but now he's learning more about his kid, learning more about there are other things. I don't need to educate him all the time. And there is a plot in the kind of in the game that the entire first game, every time Atreus is being kind to someone, Atreus is like, you have to close your heart to other people suffering. This is a weakness. This is this. And in the end of the game, it tells Atreus, you have to open your heart. This is not a weakness. This is strength. This is your power. You have to open up. You have to do this. And he understands things that differently just because he experienced things differently. And he experienced these things because he's have to travel around the 9 realms ish with Freya all the time, and he only wants her to forgive him for killing his son because he killed her son to save her life, and for her it doesn't matter. His son is dead. Her son is dead. She needs to avenge it. But they learn more about each other, so they learn to accept the differences, and then this is how he
I
learns
don't think
to.
Kratos expects forgiveness. I think he expects her to look past it in a way, because in his perspective, he knows
He did
did
wrong.
something No, I don't think he did nothing wrong. I think he's aware he did something unforgivable, but is he in his like warrior mind? You have to put that aside to get to the final cause, something like that.
Yeah, and he did it for a good reason. He did it to save Freya's life because reasons. Go play the first game.
Yeah.
So it's in his mind. It's okay. I killed your son. I know you will never forgive me. But I did it for the right reason.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see how in the end all the things happens with Thor, Freya, and this is very cool on how they did it and how Kratos evolves as a character instead of just me kill stuff, you be quiet, me kill stuff. It's like, okay, you speak your mind, you tell me what you think, open your heart to others, let's talk, you don't have to fight. And the entire I don't want to bring Ragnarok. Let's stop it. Let's fight our fates. Let's change our destiny. This is amazing. It's amazingly done. It was one of my favorite games last year. I told Aviv that when I finished the game, I cried because I fucking cry over everything now, but I cried and I told him. And And when I was about to finish the game, I took 2 weeks off from the game because I couldn't get myself to finish the game because it was so good, which is always an indication of a good game when you don't want it to end. We can talk hours about the game. We had 15 minutes. Go listen to our other podcast where we talk more about the game.
It's in
and
Hebrew. They
also
don't speak
about
Hebrew.
the first game. Some of them may. And if you want us to hear, if you want to hear more of us talking about the game, email us or write in the comments or whatever, and we'll talk. We can do another episode of
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
Tweet at
not?
us. I will summarize a few few points, and then we'll move on to news. So first of all, things I like about it. The first game was basically just an exploration of Kratos and Atreus' relationship. In the second game, it wasn't as important. Well, let's say it like this. The first game was focused on Kratos and him learning how to be a father and stuff. In this game, the focus is less about Kratos and more about the individual story of Atreus and then Freya and stuff. So I liked it. For me, the game became good when we started exploring other characters, because the beginning of it feels a lot like sequelitis. Like they did the same thing they did with the first, and it bogged down and stuff. So, but after about like the first third of it, it became very, very good. The second thing, as Yehuda said, I like what they did with the whole fate and destiny and stuff. And I was screaming at my screen at the character to stop being dumb and stop thinking that their fate is set because of the prophecies. And then they go and visit the Norns, and the Norn tells them outright, look, there is no destiny. It's just how you act. And because you're so predictable, we say it's fate. But basically everything is just human behavior or godly behavior, but whatever. It's the same thing. It's statistics. There is no fate, which I was waiting for it. I was 100% sure that's going to be the message, and it was amazing. And the last thing, and I won't go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil too much, but both this game and the last game do such a good job taking the core theme of Norse mythology, which is cycles, and put it into the game. Nothing is the end, nothing is the beginning, everything feeds on itself. And they do such a good job of showing it. And if you understand that to begin with and you look for it, there are a lot of clues and stuff. And again, like the first game, they do very good foreshadowing for a lot of things. So yeah. Amazing game. We barely scratched the surface. We didn't talk about gameplay and stuff. So maybe we'll do a recall in another episode. Quick fire news. So first game, PC Game Pass, Xbox PC Game Pass, launch in 40 new countries, which is good news. Everyone should have Game Pass. So places like Albania and Bulgaria and Cyprus and Egypt and Ukraine and Iceland and a bunch of places. Links in the description. Obviously, go check if you have access to it. It's very good. A news article came out about the game. I think we talked about this news in one of the previous episodes about Life by You, which is the new Sims competitor by Paradox. And the news came out that this game is going to have nudity. They're not going to censor anything in the game. It's going to be off by default, so you can choose, obviously. But they interviewed the developers, and the developers basically said, we are European, so we don't have hang-ups around nudity like Americans do. We care more about violence.
It made me laugh because I think the thing is about when you do nudity in a game, it also changed game rating instead, not
Yes,
just
yes.
okay, I'm Euro based, so I can do nudity. I think if they will do proper nudity, that might change the rating of the game, especially in the United States, to R or whatever. So
it won't be R just by nudity, but the question is, how are they going to do sex? So because that will change the rating of the game even more. Like The Sims goes out of their way to not call sex. It's woohooing. Now, part of it is just for the whimsy of The Sims, because they don't call things by their name unrelated to sex. There are Simsy things, so part of it is just the whimsy. We'll see what's coming. And that brought me back to, like, I don't know, a decade earlier or maybe even more, where there were a bunch of realistic life sims that came out that their point was basically to be porn simulators. There were a bunch of those at some times. And then they went away because no one really wants that. It's not interesting. Outside of, porn sites.
Yeah.
It's not a gaming thing. Anyway, that was an interesting news. There was an announcement of a new, which I sent you from Twitter, of a new 40,000 game. It's called Bolt Gun, and it basically looks like Doom. Even the title looks like the Doom logo in the 40K universe. So it's 40K Doom. That's what it is. And it's very clearly retro inspired. The graphics are it's not pixel art, but it's not like high fidelity thing. It's like blurry pixelated 3D design, which looks good. I'm not saying it is a bad thing. It looks good. So yeah, basically it's Doom Warhammer. Looks amazing. And finally, we talked in a previous episode about in the news about EA and their new football game, which is not going to be FIFA because they parted with FIFA. So this week they revealed the new branding, and it's called EA Sports FC. That's it.
Yeah,
that's the entire branding.
You don't need more. FC, football club, that's it. You don't need nothing else.
Yep, football club. So, and according to the articles about it, basically nothing changed. They are rebranding the game, and that's it, which will be a success as always.
I think I don't think they can use the same. I don't think they can use the FIFA teams though. So I don't know.
Yeah. They as we talked about the previous news article, they are signing contracts directly with different leagues and stuff. So before they had access to everything that went through FIFA, and now they can do that. So they just sign with the English leagues and whatever. Anyway, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see when the FC 2024 comes out. That's it. We went over by 4 minutes, but that's fine. 4 minutes is reasonable. It's all that we have on the show today. Thank you for listening. As Yehuda said, if you want us to talk about specific topics, tweet at us. That's the best way to reach me, at least. You can find us online on Twitter. I'm at Icel. Yehuda is at Yushuv. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, comment, and leave your reviews on your preferred listening app. You can find all of it at theburn.live. And our opening theme was created by Andorco with vocals by Fitch in Twitch. You can find them on Twitter as well. That's it for now, and until next time, bye-bye!
Bye.